Hello, everyone. I'm Jean-Claude at BeyondMystic, and welcome to this deep woo-woo episode entitled Tarot Readings by Janine. You can find her at Setting Ravens and also Tarot by Janine here on YouTube. Let's give her a big warm welcome. Janine, welcome back.
Oh, man. You must be so sick of me.
No, never. Come on.
Yeah.
You know, you guys are probably wondering why would Jean-Claude be sick? This is the fourth show I actually encountered Janine today. So
yeah, fourth show. That's right.
We're doing a lot of work together. Of course, we're pumping out all of these amazing deep dives for the Insider Access Pass members. Those are live now, by the way. Let me see if I can bring that up on the screen. So today, Janine and I recorded a special episode on supply shortages. A lot of you have been emailing us asking about how this is going to transpire. You're sending us anecdotal evidence of supply issues in your neck of the woods. So we did a whole episode just on that to kind of map it out, the why, the where, the how long it's going to last, and maybe the things you can do to help yourself here during this weird transition period we find ourselves in. So that's supply shortages. And the other one we did, of course, is the quantum financial system. So we kind of went back to go forward. We went back into some of the old narratives that were being propelled around the internet maybe last year. We explained that, and then we took a pulse, and then we're looking at where things are sitting at today. So we brought in all of these weird things that are happening now, including Lebanon, where people are throwing rocks at the banks right now because they can't access their funds, and the bank said so. No, you can no longer access your savings accounts. So a lot of weird stuff happening. So anyways, that is quantum financial system. So it turns out to be episode 26 and episode 27. These will be available starting tomorrow and Wednesday for the pay-per-view audience. But for now, of course, the Insider Access Pass members have full access to that right now. It's live and running. And also, if you are logged in as an Insider Access Pass member, if you click on this Discord invite button here on the top of the main library, that will bring you to our Discord channel if you guys want to share in the conversation here live tonight. So before we start, I also wanted to read a little note from Irene, the beautiful, lovely Irene, who supports this show by creating all of these amazing organite pyramids. As you know, I mentioned last week, she was in the hospital, her kids weren't well, then she wasn't well, and she was in the hospital for a couple of days, and she's finally out of the hospital. So she sent me a message today. Please let the audience know of my heartfelt thank you for all the light and energy and love that was sent my way. She's absolutely appreciative of all of that. So a big thank you to all of you, the audience, and don't stop now. Keep sending her some love and some healing energy so that she can recuperate faster here. And thank you, everyone, for supporting this show. And of course, tonight, what Janine and I want to do as well, we are going to take portions of that tip jar from this evening to send a little gift here from Janine and myself to Irene. So if you guys want to support us in that, please do. And let me bring up the PayPal tip jar address here for the main live chat for you guys. So a big thank you for that. Okay, as we get started here, Janine, today, lots to go through. Let's talk about what's happening with Southwest Airlines. This started last Friday. Oh, there's some weather issues and some little things. So we have 100 flights canceled. And then the next day was like, oh, there's 600 flights canceled. And now apparently we're up to 2,100 flights canceled. And of course, it's not the weather. It's not little technical issues. This is all America-wide. There's a problem happening. Of course, we're hearing what we can see on the screen right now. There's huge reports of problems related to the situation that's going on now and how it's affecting adversely people who are in the air. Now, the WebBot data talked about this 8 months ago, and a lot of people said, Cliff, you're crazy. Come on. It's the people who take the thing that will be able to fly. Now we're hearing that, no, perhaps the people who took the thing won't be able to fly, just as the WebBot data was saying. Where do we start with that one? And again, the language here is going to be very difficult, folks. There's a couple of news items today that are very touchy, so we're going to kind of use some code words.
Are you talking about, now you're talking about that pilot who passed over in the middle of a flight, and the co-pilot had to land the emergency landing, but this pilot had been double, whatted.
So there's that. And in the video here shared on the screen, we're also having reports from flight attendants after their flights who are feeling ill, who are seeing their fellow flight attendants receive medical care in their hotel rooms between flights. So there seems to be something happening here, but it's being pressed down or obfuscated from the mainstream media. And of course, they're saying that it was weather-related issues why these airlines are canceling all the flights together. There was another previous video on Friday with Stu Peters also. They were talking about the sick out, where these pilots were deciding to not show up for work here as the mandate comes closer and closer to fruition. So there's a lot going on there. And again, it ties into perhaps the negative side effects of being in altitude while being under the influence of these things that go into your arm. How do we... I have 3 questions. I'm like, I can't ask you because this is whatever you're going to say is not going to go through the filter. Let me ask this way then. Is this going to break through the mainstream media? Because they can't ignore it. They can't keep saying, oh, it's just weather-related issues, because now we have Amtrak also delaying some of the trains here in North America. And again, the mainstream media is struggling to find a good excuse without actually talking about the excuse. So maybe we can start here. Is the mainstream media, here at some point going to have to fess up and tell the truth about why we have all of these delays?
So the whole, what's going on here is a wanted response, because they're going to out the mainstream media with it. So it looks like it's a strategy, and it's what the good guys want. The good guys want, not that they want these terrible things to happen to these people, but they want the stuff to come out, and they want the mainstream media to not handle it. So when it does come out where they can't not handle it anymore, it shows just how much they've been repressing. So there's a sabotage going on. They're going to sabotage the mainstream media. This could be the thing that Cliff's been talking about, where that moment comes when they just can't.
Oh, the mainstream media casualty, as he was saying.
Yeah. That's what it looks like. That's what they're up to here by, like everybody's doing their homework. They taught a whole group of people that letter of the alphabet, and us truthers, we've been teaching everybody, and or people have been learning in all their different ways to do their research. So nobody's just buying what's been put out, right? So everybody's unearthing all of the real information, and it's leaking out everywhere. It's like it can't be stopped at this point.
Right. Well, again, in this interview and one from 3 days ago, it wasn't just the pilots, it's the ATC crew just not showing up for work. And so that was in Jacksonville, I think, Florida, was where that was being reported. So again, the mainstream media is saying, oh, just weather. Oh, you mean you have weather issues all around North America, not just in Florida? Like, come on. At a certain point, people, even the sleepy people, are saying, hey, something's going on here. So as the days click forward here, and more pilots, train operators, cops, nurses, and all this stuff say, hey, this far, no further. I mean, how much more can the media hide this stuff? I mean, I'm hearing this at the local Tim Hortons and the post office this weekend. Like, people are just like, even like the really, really big normies are getting it. So that's fascinating. Okay, Siobhan saying, hey, did JC announce the winner of Irene's last item? Yeah, that was the cell phone stand that Irene was testing just before she went to the hospital. And yes, the winner was Nancy Spain. Now, it's possible that Irene didn't get a chance to email that winner. I see the email here on the conversation with Irene, simply because it was on or about the time that Irene went to the hospital. So Nancy Spain, if you did not get an email from either Irene or myself, just email me through the contact form here, and we'll make sure that is sent out to you, of course, when Irene feels better, if she hasn't already mailed it out to you guys. So thank you, Siobhan, for that reminder. Okay. Do we need to do more on this airline thing? We're getting a lot of, we're touching a lot of difficult grounds here tonight. I think I'm going to leave it. We might have to do a pay-per-view one or uncensored one on this one, because there's so much there with the adverse reactions that ties into other pieces now that you and I have been gathering over the weekend and people sending us. and that's going to be too difficult to do that here. I apologize, guys. We're just doing our best here to share the information where and how we can. Okay, let's move into this conversation here. I tweeted this. Actually, we'll do this one next. Okay, Janine, set this one up. First of all, for the people who haven't watched the show, Janine, start by maybe recapping what this individual said a couple of weeks ago in Australia and what he's saying now in this particular address. So let's go back and then we'll go forward here.
Okay. So when we first saw this guy in a big way over here in North America, he had come out a couple of weeks ago, and he did a shout out basically to everybody in the elite societies. Basically, he was calling out deep state, dark cult players, and mainly politicians, but he was including higher ups in all walks of life that would be like suspiciously dark cult. You know what I mean? So he's talking about elites, and he was saying, we're all going to hear some really, really nasty things about these people, and be prepared. Some of it won't be true because you'll hear so many nasty things, but a lot of it will be. And he said, you won't even be able to believe what you hear. It'll be so outside of your normal sort of thinking. So you know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah.
Horrific things with the children and like horrifying things that we know about, we've been talking about for a long time. So he's basically warning people that this is all about to come out in the days and weeks to follow. And then today he put out, so he's a politician, but he's a real kind of a rogue politician, and he's not in the main sort of political arena, right? Because he's kind of on the outside, I guess. He's an outsider politician. And I did a reading after he put that out to just see, is this guy, like, is he just planting information? Is he a good guy? Is he a bad guy? Could he just be controlled opposition like we've been seeing some people doing? No, it turns out he's super legit, very independent, but connected, and does know a lot more than, say, personally I know or Jean-Claude might know. Like, so he has connections, but I wouldn't call him like he's in cahoots with the white hats. I wouldn't say he's literally on the ground, working amongst them, in the tunnels or whatever, but he's absolutely seems to get some intel from them, it seemed, in the cards. And I also got he was a little apprehensive about bringing that. He wasn't sure. He just felt the urge to say that and the need to, but he wasn't told to do that. He did it on his own accord. And he was a little nervous while he was, and that's what the cards even picked up, because he wasn't sure, was it good timing? Is it okay to say this now? And then he got a huge response, and millions of people viewed that, and it was the right time. And he went on Charlie Ward talking about it, and yeah, he's had millions of views on that, went viral. And now he's out again saying to all of those people again, so all the elites, the politicians, the heads of state, the heads of governments, the heads of religions, and he just goes on and names, the head of the Vatican, the head of everybody that's got a really elite position, because we know how they got that position. Those people, and also the heads of even like on the ground level, like chief of police and people like that. People that have power right now need to get on the right side of this war, he's saying. Or if they don't, they got till the end of October, and then there's going to be no mercy for them. Even if they claim they didn't know what they were doing, that's not going to be good enough. This is a war, and they've been warned. Get on the right side, be for the people. Don't be against the people, or you're going to be known to be on the wrong side of this.
Right. Okay, so the individual's name is Ricardo Bossi or Bozzi, and I've just placed a link here to this last video on Janine's Twitter. So if you guys want to go listen to him directly, you can do so. I'm trying not to play that here. We're probably going to get in trouble, but Janine just did a good recap. So let me ask the cards then. As he is basically a voice here for some of the good guys, is the bad side listening to this right now? Like, did they hear it, one? And two, are they starting to feel that perhaps they have to heed into this warning here of Ricardo Bossi, or is he completely being ignored by these bad fellows who think they are still winning?
So the bad guys are coming up as secretive, and so they're still hiding in the shadows, pretending they're not the bad guys. A lot of people know who the bad guys are. They're anybody pushing any of these agendas that have anything to do with the illness or the cure for the illness. Okay, anybody pushing that agenda, anybody pushing the agenda of climate change, anybody pushing those kind of agendas that we know are connected to deep state, those are who he's talking to. Okay, all of those are agendas to basically new world order everybody up. Okay, and you know what that means. Take out a large percentage of the population, yada, yada. You know, Schwab put it all together with his, you will own nothing and be happy. And there'll be a lot less of you. He didn't add that part, but that's what I'm going to say.
Right.
Okay, so that agenda, okay, so that's secretive, and so they're still hiding in the shadows. This is the man who put that out, and I got to tell you, I got utmost respect for that guy. I've heard him talk several times now, and I think he's like amazing, right?
You and I have done readings on him live and also on the pay-per-view as well, and we came up with integrity for sure.
Yeah, super brave guy. So he's coming up as an old soul, and he's probably been fighting these guys for lifetimes, like the rest of us who are on the front lines. Yeah, we're finding out we've been in this battle for lifetimes. Okay, so in the past, they've been going along just kind of in this illusion that, oh, what are you talking about? We're just following orders. What are you talking about? This is what we need to do to keep everybody safe. That's been in the past, but there's been a way big awakening. Even in the last couple of weeks, it looks like a lot more people have woken up. So I feel like these guys are going to have to come clean. And or I think about 70% of them might have heard what he said. Actually paid attention to what he said, because this is some action going on in the background. This is the outcome. And will it put, so there's seeds growing here. So down the road over the next month, I think you'll see things starting to crumble, like people that were the head of police over here. That's already started to happen, by the way. They're walking away from their posts. Like it'll start from the bottom, where people will hear what he's saying and from lots of different platforms, not just his, and get in the next month that this is not a good time to be pushing these agendas. I think 70% you're going to see naturally walk away from their posts. So that could be people in the news, we saw that for a long time, that all of a sudden the news people even would start flipping. They would be the last to do it. But so I think we're going to see this. I think this is going to happen.
Well, you know what you just said, it's happening now. Let me scroll down. I posted this a few seconds before the show. Where did it go? These police in Seattle walking out, and I remember tweeting this earlier to Cliff High. At any rate, I think it's 30% or 40% of the police force in Seattle leaving because of this mandate. So whoa, things are going to change really quickly, just as they are in Australia. It's going to happen here. Now, okay, we talked about Ricardo Bossi here and his integrity. There's a person in the chat saying, hey, if that person, Ricardo Bossi, was on with Charlie Ward, then he is not legit. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't agree with you. It's not because you're on a show with somebody else that you don't agree with that person doesn't have integrity. As Janine is saying here, they're trying to wake up as many people as they can. And that often means also using every means at your disposal and every channel at your disposal where there's a receptive audience, not talking about the show host themselves. So while I appreciate your comment, be careful and refrain from those in my chat, please, because again, we don't want to create limited hangouts here. What we try to convey, Janine and I, is listen to everyone and follow no one. It's not because so-and-so was on somebody's show and all this that we shouldn't listen to them. That is the trap that we must not fall into here moving forward. Okay, PayPal tip jar. These are people tipping very heavily here. Thank you so much. And again, we are going to be giving a gift here to Irene, who usually is on the other end giving us gifts. So thank you so much. Let me just $100. Whitney, thank you so much. Thomas Duranti, thank you so much for that. And Deanne Caligian, thank you so much for those tips. You guys are absolutely amazing. Okay. Israel, World War II. Let me see if I can cue this one up as well for you guys. Again, a difficult conversation to have here. Janine, as I bring this video up, did you see the video I sent you earlier? Did you have a chance to watch it or not yet?
I didn't have a chance to watch it.
Okay, so it's just before the show. So let me pause right here, and I'll bring this on the screen without going too far. So I'll bring that link down. Oh, hold on a second here, folks. I'm doing this live here. So it was this one here. Okay, so here's the link. Essentially, this person is a child of the camps. Again, I'm choosing my language here because it's going to be very difficult to do this here. And she is basically a witness of what happened in World War II. And she is showing in this interview just how many parallels there are between the mandates of today and the mandates that led to the persecution of these people. And I'm just going to say these people are now us people, right? So we are in the same boat that these people were in World War II. This is what she's talking about. She makes a very poignant part. She also works and studies the healthcare industry and the atrocities therein over the last number of years. She knows what she's talking about. This is an absolute interview, and I hope that you guys can share this far and wide, and also to the normies. She does a great job detaching maybe from the fear factor of the health situation around the planet and simply talking about how sovereign we are as beings and how we must not forget and not abscond of our responsibilities of social disobedience in order to continue fighting for the freedom of our planet. Very, very, very powerful message. I was kind of discombobulated before the show because I was listening to her voice. Like, she's so poignant. So again, guys, go watch this interview and please do share it wide because a lot of people need to hear this, including parents who right now are thinking they're protecting their children by giving in to all of these things right now, whereas in fact, in her opinion here, they're doing the exact opposite and absconding from their parental obligations. So she speaks from a very authoritative voice, and she's speaking from experience, of course, and she's not mincing words, but very, very powerful discourse indeed. Now, how can I set that up in a conversation or a question for this show here tonight? Again, guys, as I'm telling you, there's a lot going on and we need to stay focused here. And Janine and I need to be able to be out here as long as we can. That's the other issue that we're trying to combat. So on that note, she says something like, the people who were trying to achieve the third thing back in World War II, they're now going for the fourth thing. It starts with the letter R, right? Call it arraign. So arraign. So I guess that's all I can say. And you and I have been talking about this, that we're basically fighting. I have the plaques and medals of my grandfather here from World War II, and I dream of him sometimes, and he communicates with me saying, we were fighting the same people. We're fighting the exact same thing. So let's pull some cards on that to see how true that really is, that we're fighting these same tactics, these same people over and over again, and how people were hoodwinked for the longest time in World War II before they saw how far this would go. These are the same people also karmically today being hoodwinked by all of this as well. How we're just, history is just repeating itself.
Yep. But the way it's different is, you know, I know I sound like a broken record, but these guys are going down this time. They're going down for good because we've got this card is exactly those people we're talking about that we've been fighting for lifetimes dark cult, deep state. But this is the long, slow process of really ridding the planet of that kind of energy. It's being ridded of, by the way. So that part's good. Okay, the sun. Yeah, the outcome. Wow. So the outcome cards are amazing. I don't know why the cards want to jump to where we're going instead of where we've been. So I think not to dwell on how, going back and revisiting can be helpful sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
but other times it can help just stay in an energy frequency.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, I'm just going to read what it's saying here. It says, move forward out of this so we can protect our children in the future. There's people working on our behalf to help us move out of this. We're going to have breakthroughs really soon on this.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to stay focused on the goal right now and maybe not get super immersed in, yes, that's pretty obvious that this is, if somebody hasn't figured that, they're watching this show and they haven't figured out this is a repeat of some of the things that happened back then. I don't know. They haven't been paying attention. You know what I mean? I don't think they'd even be watching this show if they didn't know that. So I got a feeling it's like the universe wants us to visualize a better world out of this and recreate from scratch so we never get in this position again.
Mm-hmm.
We never let that punch get on top again.
Right. And what's funny, in the episode you and I did today, let me bring that up for the audience. Janine was a special guest surprise on Catherine Edwards and my show here today. We had absolutely a good time. So if you haven't seen that, please do go and check that out. And remember to subscribe there to Catherine Edwards' YouTube channel. You and I talked about this with Catherine earlier today, and we said perhaps this time for the first time, because this is a recurring theme on the planet. It's not just World War II. It's been happening over and over and over. But what we said was we're in this critical junction now where perhaps for the first time in thousands of years, we actually have a shot at getting out of this cycle. This is why we're excited. And this is why the cards are showing you how the outcome could be absolutely magnificent here. But again, what we came up with, we need to do the work, right? Repeat that for this audience here. It's not just waiting for the external savior here. Yes, we have opportunities of amazing things moving forward, but we're people who do the work. And I explain that in context of you're doing your card readings for all your life and in the context of today, the topic at hand.
Yeah. So every time over the 35 years, like almost every client I had, there was one theme that was always present when you looked at a situation they were in, especially the more difficult readings. The theme was always, if you work on this and you move towards more self-love over here and you learn those issues around boundaries, especially with people you love, having good boundaries, because that's healthy, blah, blah, blah. There was always do this here, and then this, and this comes out of it. So the lesson here that you're trying to teach yourself is this, and this. It was never like when you have a client in front of you, the higher universe always help them understand what is the lesson here. And once they learn it, they can move on to the next level of existence. Things get better. Okay, but you got to learn the things. You got to go through the thing. That's how we become wise souls. We become wise souls by going through all the yucky stuff and coming out of figuring out what is the lesson here. So that part, we can't miss that step. We can't miss the step of what are we learning here? We're learning hoarding is absolutely, like, that's what the dark cult does. And their whole existence relies upon, they want stuff, riches, and a lifestyle that would only last. The reason they want to stay young forever is they're only counting on their one life, because I'm pretty sure that bunch knows karma is not going to be pretty on them going forward. So they're willing to sell their souls just to live it out in one lifetime, all the riches they could, how pathetic, sell your eternity for one lifetime of comfort and wealth. Yeah. That sounds really pathetic to me. I can't even fathom how silly that is. That's not very intelligent. That's all I'm going to say. Like, really? That's what we're doing? Right?
Exactly.
right? So we as more wise beings, we know better, okay? And we have to remind ourselves that we know better. We have to really get that etched in our souls going forward. Never give away our freedoms. We've given away all our freedoms. We've let doctors, not everybody, but a whole lot of people. We've let, like, generations of people. My parents trusted entirely in their doctor, and horrible things have happened to both of them at the hands of their doctors. And they'll still, for the most part, defend those fools.
Mm-hmm.
And I know there's some good doctors out there, but both my parents encountered some of the worst, as far as I'm concerned. So, like, your heads of religions, okay, organized religion, some of the most demonic people on the planet are the head of some big religious organization. Great big organization, supposedly gathering money for needy children. As soon as you hear that, if you got any brains and you've been paying attention, that equals likely traffickers, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We found out everybody we thought was doing good, Oprah, okay, doing good, Obama, everybody we thought was doing good. Guess what? The exact opposite. So things flip everything. Don't trust anybody but your own intuitive knowing, right? If somebody's been a do-gooder for years and years and years, really look into what's really going on over there. If they're collecting money and saying they're giving it to some big child charity, okay, that's a red flag right now. It's like, we got to learn to do our homework, look into things. Don't just assume and hand over money, power, bend over for people that elites. Like, what does that even mean? Nobody's more important or less important than you. Those are the lessons we're learning.
Mm-hmm.
Never give away our freedoms. Like, we've been handing them over. Oh, it's just this. It's just this. It's just, no, it's not just this. None of it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm struck by a comment also on the PayPal tip jar. I'm going to read that. But first, David Hodler in the screen in the live stream saying, JC, get a whiteboard and write the things down. You cannot say, actually, dude, that doesn't work either, because the algorithms read on screen what we put on. So I appreciate the effort, but nope, not going to work here either. I've been caught before with those, so I know firsthand. All right. Let me read this comment here. It's from Mary Clock. Let me see if I can bring that. Again, thank you so much for those generous donations, guys. Really appreciate it. She says, it's been said so many times before, but really, you guys are an anchor for us, providing good information, direction, and thought with much care and compassion. Thank you. Mary Clock, thank you so much for saying that. We really appreciate it. Janine and I work hard at this, and man, sometimes these comments are what makes us, keeps us moving forward. So a big thank you to you. And Karen Klein Lockey, $333 donation. I'm absolutely blown away, guys, by your generosity. Merci beaucoup, Karen. She doesn't have a comment there, but if you do have a question, please put it in the chat and put it in bold. And folks, point it out to me so I can ask her a question. Absolutely. A big thank you for that. Okay, let me see here. In the PayPal tip jar, a few people are asking about, hey, are we supposed to be hit by a solar flare today? So thank you to the Insider Access Pass chat for that. And let me see if I can bring this news article from earlier today. They were talking about these geomagnetic storms hitting the planet today, perhaps starting at least today, causing some issues with power outages around the world and also the satellite grid. Now, this is what Janine and I have been forecasting here for the last couple of weeks, and why we had put together the coupon code here for, let me see if I can still have it here. Is it here? Yeah, the Stay Connected coupon code for the Insider Access Pass, which gives you a 10% off. Janine and I just pushed this one back again, so it's valid for a whole other week here. So if you guys want to try that out and stay connected with us, and now's the time. But Janine, going back to this question here from, I forget who it is, there's a few people in the Insider Access Pass. What's the situation here with this?
I think it already started. And this is really weird, because this card says it's to our advantage somehow in the big picture. So something's really good about that. Like, I wonder if that's what tomorrow was talking about, where something would trigger anybody who's supposed to be in the fight and anybody who's supposed to know what the heck's going on, and they've been avoiding, because we know there's people with their head in the sand and they know, but they're just not getting in the fight. They'd rather just sit on the sideline. She was saying something was coming that was going to really shake that up. I got a feeling, because everything's saying this, those solar flashes, even if they might cause disruption, are to our advantage and actually going to help everything move forward. I think that's how we're going to get our 80% we've been waiting for. So things can get going here with the military and the moves. You know what Juan O'Savin says, we're at 77%, we need 80. In other words, I think what he's saying is we're really super close to things going ahead.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, so on one hand, and who was I talking to about this? Was Cliff High? I was talking about the galactic superwaves of Dr. Paul Laviolette, how maybe that could activate some dormant DNA. Oh no, it was with Bryce. I think it was Bryce and I who were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. So there's that on one hand, and let me ask you a supplemental on this. You and I talked about this in the banking or the quantum financial system episode earlier today. But are these flares or geomagnetic storms, are they good for us because they might be shutting down some cabal or some bad actor systems in order to give the good guys time to reboot the new systems for humanity? Is that also in the play here? And on top of us remembering, you know, who we are in our power.
Didn't we get that? I think we got that. We asked earlier today. I think we
asked the same. It's my fourth show here today, folks. I'm not sure if I asked that question. No. Today we asked about, no. You did say that it was a good thing, this particular thing, and had something to do with the blackouts, but we didn't connect it with the geostorms here in Lebanon. We just didn't know where it was coming from. So my question is, maybe not just Lebanon, but is it possible that these storms or these blackouts will also be helping the white hats boot over or reboot some of these systems?
White hats, good military, and this is a whole bunch of activity that they can do because of those things.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know why, but it's clearing the way for them. It's like even the lockdowns at the beginning really helped them do a lot of their underground tunnel clearing out and things that they were doing that they otherwise couldn't do with everybody standing around. Or watching, right? So having everybody kind of locked down really helped them out there. So I feel like, this is our military card. It's our positive military, and that card says, so there's a lot of things they get done in that activity. And when we looked at it earlier today, Jean-Claude, there was something from outer space that created it. So people wrote me later and said Starlink, or they have me and said, when you say that outer space, what you probably are referring to is Starlink. Now, I don't know, because I don't know much about Starlink, but this is what people write me all the time.
That makes sense now. Okay, we're going to need, you and I started talking about the ET stuff today, and we went a lot deeper in the ET stuff than we thought, connected to this episode here, the quantum financial systems. Again, folks, if you're just joining us now, Janine and I recorded two very special deep dive investigations today. The first one on the QFS, so an update on this whole situation, and the next one was shortages and the supply management issues that we are currently facing, and how we are going to work together as humans, and also perhaps with the breakaway human civilizations to bring back on planet some of the technologies and resources that were funneled off planet. So I'm going to say for this episode here on YouTube, but that was like, whoa, crazy. So that's available, guys, now to the Insider Access Pass members. Of course, they all get that before everybody else here. And this is a coupon code again for you guys if you want to give that a try. Otherwise, these episodes will be available to the public tomorrow and Wednesday at the a la carte pay-per-view system as well. Okay. Wow. Fascinating stuff. Let me see if I can get a PayPal question here. Hold on. I think I have to reboot that. Lacey, sending love and light to all. The number today cannot make it up. Wow. Okay, am I missing something, Lucy? Let me see if you can read this, Janine. So this is from Lacey Anderson. Sending love and light, I get that part, to all. The number today, cannot make it up. Wow. What's the number today? What does she mean? Do you know?
Well, what's the date?
October 11th.
Is it 11th or is it 10th?
We're the 11th today.
Oh, it's the 11th. Okay, Monday the 11th.
Somehow this seems significant, and this is why I'm bringing it up, but I don't understand why it's significant. Lacey, shoot.
Yeah, I'm at a loss too, but that could be because I'm on my 5th show today.
Right. Okay, so guys, as you can see, you know, there's gazillion screens here and chats going on. It's hard for us to run these shows now. There's 7,000 people in the chat, by the way. So it's hard so please, when you ask questions, make it very precise, tight, and to the point. You will help us out a great deal. But a big thank you, nevertheless, for the donations. I really appreciate it. Let me see if I can do the next one here. Please answer my question, Jean-Claude. Okay, here's the next one from Joanne Joyce. I've had a tightness in my chest since March last year and a tightness in my throat for the last 6 months. This has lifted this last week. Is it physical or energetic? It's lifted. Huh. Okay. So a physical change in her body or an energetic change in her body, or perhaps off-world interference in lifting this tightness of the chest and the throat. What is she alluding to for Joanne Joyce?
She's been working on this for a really long time. Strategy, working on this. Something's been trying to come through for a really long time. She might have been skirting around it, but I don't think she must have done something or let some thought or idea really go through that otherwise she was resisting. So it's very energetic. It's not physical, but it came out in her physical body. So her self's been trying to tell her something for a long time. That's what the strategy card is. It was strategically trying to get her attention through physically working with her, which happens, especially when it's something you're thinking and need to say. So speak out. Okay, so she shifted it, even if she just agreed to do something within her own self. There's been a shift, and that's why it's shifted. She's going to do the thing she was resisting doing, or she's agreed, or her higher self believes she's agreed to it. So it's been very patient with her. That's why it took so long with the energy being there for months.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it was sitting there just patiently waiting for her to pay attention to it. It's like, but it has something to do with either writing or speaking or knowing something. So it's an intellectual process because we got swords and we've also got a magician, which is all about thought usually. So it's like Mercury.
Is Joanne getting a battlefield promotion and picking up a microphone or a camera to do this type of work? And that was part of that process, maybe?
Well, it looks like she might resist. I think you're onto it. She might resist for a little bit longer, and she'll have intermittent issues if she resists. So in her own way, and she already knows what that is, it feels like, but she does have a lot of fear around it. It could even be just speaking out to neighbors, friends, family members. It could even be closer to home for her, but she cripples down in fear, and then comes the pain again, maybe. So it's important. She may not be as big as getting on the YouTube, but it could be like that's whatever degree she wants to go with that. She would know. If I had her in front of me, I'd get it out of her. But
okay. Well, Joanne, go check out my BitChute, and if this video speaks to you, you might have a bigger understanding here as to why all this is happening. The video is called Battlefield Promotions. I put it on BitChute because the language wouldn't pass the algos here on YouTube. So go check that out. So it's BeyondMystic on BitChute. Okay. Somebody was saying about the numbers earlier, and it's scrolling so fast. Perhaps they were talking about the Schumann resonance. So as we're doing the show, I checked it out and look, there's a big blackout period. So something's happening even here in the reporting system. So we do see glitches from time to time, but I've seen it before where there was a huge spike and then a half hour later, it was kind of like erased from the screen. So I don't know if that's what's happening here today. If any of you have an earlier picture from today of what that spike might have looked like, please send it to me on Twitter and I will share it. So perhaps that's what the other viewer was asking questions about. Good point, good catch. We'll see. Okay, so let me go back to the insider guys here. What was the next one? Okay, Smuzz SMUZZ, smooth. Can we get confirmation on Oprah? I'm really excited about this possibility. Set that up a little bit very quickly for the audience. What do you think this? I know what you mean, but for the audience who might not have seen our first episode, just set that up and then we'll pull the cards on it.
I was on Nicholas Veniaman, and then when I jumped on that surprise visit to Catherine Edwards, where she chats with yourself, Jean-Claude. So both those shows, there's a possibility of a really big takedown publicly. Now, I think these people have already been taken down, but remember, this could just be for the public view. Okay, of either, well, I was thinking Oprah originally, but it could also be the Queen, where they really get outed for who they really are in the public eye, because we already know who they, like a lot of people watching this channel would know that, what I'm talking about there. So I think publicly they could really get it taken down. And that's what I was getting earlier today. And that's probably what they're talking about. And I am looking forward to it myself because she's, high up in the, you know what, guys, really, really cloaked energy, really, really cloaked, and lots of stuff around children. And most of her history is made up.
Okay, and can we ask a card what the smuzz, I think, from the Insider Group is asking, can we get a confirmation? Wait, how did she phrase that? Can we get a confirmation on Oprah? So basically maybe she's being rolled out in handcuffs later this week.
Does look Oprah-ish, and this is the Justice card. So she's the one facing justice. So it looks more, I'm going more with her than less about the Queen.
Okay, you got your answer, guys. All right.
Confirmation here.
Wow.
Oprah.
Yeah. Wow. All right. There's weird conversations in my chat. Last week, a bunch of people were bitching about Carrie Cassidy out of the blue. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And I don't know where it comes from. And so these people are coming here to talk about other guests, and they're doing it now with respect to Michael Jaco. I don't understand where that's coming from, guys. And I don't have I can't read all the chat, so I'm not going to get into the topic without all of the details here. But guys, again, this is not the point of this channel. Listen, if you don't want to listen to us, don't listen to us. It's okay. But please don't come here to bash other people's work and all that. It's not what my channel is all about. I really don't want to feed that. If you're genuinely warning about something, then be precise about your warning, as opposed to say, oh, this person is so-and-so. Well, that doesn't give anybody any context to what you're saying, and it's not the appropriate forum to do that, respectfully. So thank you. Still. All right. Diane Koch. Thank you, JC, Janine, for all your hard work. Love and appreciate you so much. Love you too. Right back at you. Thank you so much. Lakeside Laura. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Janine, in all of this here too today, let me see. Is there anything else you were tracking? I have quite a few more questions here on both chats we can fill some time with. Oh, this one here. I think you wanted to talk about this in our notes here earlier today. This is the police now saying, oh, we're not going to investigate. We didn't find anything. And this is a done deal. Stop looking over here. There's nothing here, folks. Move along. And of course, we know who's on the screen here. So how do you read into that here today? Why is this popping up in the field?
That's just weird. Okay. Like, because just yesterday I heard they were going after him hard. So it's like, which one is it? So weird. It's like, I'm just ignoring that because that's all going to get outed really quick. Everything to do with the royals are going to come out. So that's why I've been avoiding the topic, because it's like, you know what? I talked about that for years. We all know the scoop. That's all going to come out in the big wash coming out. When the laundry gets hung out, they're going to be right in there with the best of them, or you could say the worst of them. The worst of them, yeah. And me too. I looked at that today. I'm like, okay, that's like Baghdad Bob saying, "Oh, don't worry, the Saddam Hussein troops will prevail." In the back, the statue's falling. Give me a break. So the police here are being Baghdad Bobs and saying that everything's okay, nothing to see here, where perhaps these people are very close to that perp walk indeed. So it's fascinating to watch anyways. But it does affect people because we're so anticipating this news of this worldwide system
of trafficking being exposed, and yet we keep seeing our officials saying, no, there's nothing here, go back to sleep, folks. So it's very frustrating for all of us who are waiting for this information to hit the normie land, so that we can continue to push the needle forward and share with each other and rebuild after that, because we are going to go through collective healing for all of this together as humans. And that is going to be very important here moving forward. And as I just said that, let's see if I can find this other poster here. This one here, Medine from Australia coming to the show next week, or is that the week after? Anyways, it's October 19th. Let me see if I can get this off the screen so you guys can see here the full poster. There you go. No, still can't see it. At any rate, there you go. October 19th at, I believe this is the 9 p.m. show. It's going to be a little bit later. She's in Australia. And we are going to be doing this collective show, Medine, Janine, and myself, on healing the trauma and the soul collective here around not just the trafficking issue, but it will be a big part of it. And this stems from the conversation we had with Tamara 2 weeks ago. So please, guys, set your calendar for this one. It's going to be one hell of a show, and one hell of a very high frequency show in terms of bringing these people together for a healing ceremony, which is absolutely needed right now. And I'm very honored to be able to host this with these two amazing divine feminines. So stay tuned for that one. Okay, where was I going next with this one? Okay, so we did Prince Andrew. What else was there today? You were looking at something, and then I saw this one from Prince Andrew. You had something else, Janine, I think you wanted to.
Did I? The only thing I can think of is that weird new show they have out. And it's on Netflix, and it made me think, okay, Netflix is definitely owned by the White Hats at this point. And I think it was called, oh man, I can't remember.
What's the story? What's the storyboard?
What they're doing is they're outing everything. So they're basically showing you that everything, all the conspiracy theorist stuff is in, it's like a cartoon almost. And everything's in it. So this girl takes over from her dad, who actually looks like, he kind of looks like, the way they sketched him, he looked like Steve Jobs. Anyway, so she takes over, and she's the head of keeping everybody basically in the dark about that the conspiracy theories everybody believes in are all.
Oh, Squid Games.
Is that what it is? No, that doesn't sound familiar. It's
Squid Games look more like Hunger Games, or like a weird. That's not what you're talking about.
No. This is it's like made to be really funny, and every single thing we talk about on shows like this is in it. Okay, and then in the show, apparently they discover who really runs the world. Now, darn if I can remember what it's called. It's really,
guys, if you're in the chat now and you know which movie Janine is talking about, put it in high caps and I'll bring it up on the screen.
The series apparently, and it's brand new apparently, and I haven't even
Inside Job. Somebody's saying Inside Job.
That could be it, actually. Yeah, that's it. I think that's it. That sounds familiar, actually. It's just two words like that, and it sounds like that. I think
cartoons.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Oh man, I watched the, like, what do they call it? The preview. It was brilliant. It was showing everything. Everything, to be, it was like showing off-worlders. It was showing, what they do underground. It was showing, oh my goodness, like everything people are calling conspiracy theories. They show it here. And these guys are sort of, I don't know exactly the plot yet because I haven't watched it, but I got the impression they were trying to keep the narrative or keep everybody sort of in the dark, maybe, that this is all real.
Well, I think it could be out already in the States, but here for Canada, at least mine says it's going to premiere on October 22nd, 2021.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Wow, that's fascinating. Okay, yes. So that's cool. Really cool. Okay. And thank you for the people in the chat helping us out here. It's so cool to have a collective working. And somebody said, hey, thank you, JC, for saying that about not talking about other guest show. And like, I appreciate that. It was just, that's a divide and conquer routine. I don't want to play into that, guys. I don't want to play into that. Go ahead, Jenny.
I said, who put that show out? Good guys. Guess what? I think the good guys are, and then this came to me. Okay, I think the white hats are way more in charge. And I know who was it that was saying that not that long ago? A channeler from the UK. Just trying to remember her name now. Michelle Fielding. She said that she gets stuff, I think, ahead, and then it comes to pass. I think she's really good at what she does, actually. But she said that the white hats are in charge of everything. And she said this months ago. And now I think I'm starting to see that that's the case.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's funny because a lot of like staunch, rigid people for the last number of years, there's no such thing as good guys. It's all going to shit, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And all of them, at least all the ones I've been watching this year, kind of like, actually, there seems to be evidence that there's good guys working behind the scenes right now. So we're seeing that big switch. And the one thing, let me bring this up. And so I'm 3/4 into the interview. So forgive me if I say something wrong here because I didn't see the last part of her interview. I had to jump into this show. But at one part, she described the difference here between what happened in World War II and today. She says that nobody's coming for us now. It's all about us. Whereas in World War II, we had the Allied forces that were helping. And this is where, respectfully, I would disagree with her because we do have the Allied forces, the good guys, as Janine just described them, or what Cliff High calls the self-organizing collective. There is a group fighting this in the background right now, and we are very close for that group to come out in the open so that we know we're not alone in this fight. This is perhaps one area where I would respectfully disagree, but again, she might have corrected that in the later part of her show and I didn't see it. So again, guys, a fascinating conversation. Please do go and check that one out. I gave the link earlier in the chat for you guys. Okay, PayPal tip jar. Let me go back here and thank a few people. Christine, sending you both love and light. Merci beaucoup. Jacqueline, love to you both. Thank you. No questions, but a lot of thank you. So thank you, guys. Really appreciate that. Diane Sanchez, question for Janine. Okay, my ex-husband, Randy, my soulmate, and I is my ex-husband, Randy, my soulmate, and will we ever get back together? Ouch. Okay, that is a tough question, but a very good one and personal and deep affecting one. Let's ask this one for Diane. What can the cards tell her, Janine?
Well, that's Deanne's energy. So she's into the idea of it and she's been subtly putting it out there. And so for her to feel that strong, she likely had a past life. So I think we could safely say she's had some past life experiences with this person. Now that person's ego battles it. So on one hand, so this is them. On one hand, the ex-husband fights it. So parts of him say yes to her and also feel what she's feeling, and other parts of them say no way, like no, we're not doing that. And yeah, so he fights those feelings. Okay, because not everybody agrees. They can meet their soulmate, but they don't all agree to do the work. Right? I've met several people in this lifetime that could have been really big soulmate relationships that they walked away from, or I walked away. One or two of them I walked away from because I didn't want to do the work, and one or two of them they walked away. Mm-hmm. So I've got it kind of equal, been on both sides of that. But yeah, like we can meet soulmates and agree to do it at another lifetime because we're not always up for the work. It's not always what we're going to focus on this lifetime. Mm-hmm. And that just happens. So that's just not a slight to anybody or anything. That's just what happens sometimes. Okay. Yeah. So they definitely had soul work together. And it was really hard soul work. And while they were married, I feel like there was some really hard moments, but also some really good moments. And she's had to surrender to, it just got obviously so hard. It, couldn't keep doing, somebody said they're not doing this anymore. And I kind of looking like him, or maybe they both did at first. And now he's not willing to go back in and do more battle. Not yet anyway. Now this is interesting because in the near future, there's a big gateway. Okay. So, wow. Okay. This is wow. Okay. This is but new territory. She's going to meet someone else and have a really big connection with that's new. So it's the reason I'm saying it isn't that person again. She's going to meet somebody new and move in a new direction. And this person's very enthusiastic about working with her. So stay open to what's coming that's new. Leave that. You can catch up to that guy another lifetime when he's ready. You got other soulmates to meet.
Wow. Fascinating. Okay. Well, that's a good one to end the show on. Absolutely. And guys, a big thank you to all the donations tonight. If you're just tuning in, Janine and I want to give back to the beautiful Irene, who's on the screen, who usually is the one giving this channel all the time with her energy and her beautiful organized designs here by Irene. So please, guys, again, if you're watching the show on replay and you feel it's appropriate to share with Janine and I, who are going to give Irene here a get well gift from us and from the audience, you can do so here using the PayPal tip jar on the screen. So big thank you again. And our hearts go out to Irene. Big hugs and a lot of energy towards her. Janine, any last words of wisdom? We're exactly on the hour mark here before we go for tonight. Anything you want to pull for the cards to help maybe the audience navigate maybe the next 7 days here? Apparently that's very critical. You said 6 days in your chat earlier today. Last night when you pulled for me, you said 7 days. So we're in that time window here.
This is so big shifts and movements, revelations. Stay grounded. Stay grounded and don't get too in fear or even in anticipation. Try to just stay grounded, because we're going to be shook with all kinds of revelations, even these things coming out about pilots, planes having to be landed because something happened to the pilot just after what happened. 2 of these in the arm kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So there's going to be shocking things and revelations of all sorts. And one of the biggest things coming up in the next 6-7 days, because that's what you're asking about time frame, has something to do with Mr. T and the White Hats. So maybe more of a reveal around what they're really doing. Like you said, revealing this background troop. We know he didn't invent that White Hat group or alliance or whatever you want to call it.
They recruited him.
Yeah, they recruited him, and he's just a front guy. But somehow, or maybe a really famous person coming out again that could be really shocking, who you thought was passed over. So we got that coming up again. We might be thinking it's time to bring out one of those famous people that we know actually didn't pass over. So there's going to be shocking revelations. Some of them horrifying to know, but we already know a lot of it. And some, they'll be horrifying to the newbies to this, but also some really exciting ones too. Maybe we're even going to get a glimpse of behind the scenes here. It looks like we are, actually. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Wow. Okay. I won't pull cards on this one, but I just wanted to bring it up as I just scrolled the PayPal tip jar one last time here, 902. From Charles Harrow. Thank you so much for the donation. He's asking about the Iraqi dinar revaluation. Now, that is exactly the show, or at least a part of it, that Janine and I did today, the quantum financial system and how that relates to all of these currency valuations. So we went into detail, each of them, the Zim, the dinar, the Vietnamese dong, and the concept behind all of this stuff. So you're interested in that, it's available now for the Insider Access Pass, and will be a la carte tomorrow. Just quickly before we go, did you want to add to that question, Janine, or should we just leave it at that episode? You decide. What's your energy at right now? Because a lot of people are still asking about this.
Things are going to clear up around that. You're going to get clarity around that, which is a long time coming, I know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that, and I believe it, I get it's real. So if that's the question.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Teresa says, what's wrong with Charlie Ward? I don't know. Who says there's something wrong with Charlie Ward?
Exactly. right?
I don't know, guys. I don't
Somebody
know.
might not like them. Yeah.
Right. All right, folks. That was Tarot by Janine here on Monday night. We will be back here again Wednesday for the next live stream, where we're going to be having an interactive show with you guys as we did tonight. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating in that chat. And I wanted also to point your attention again to this trauma soul healing episode that's coming up on October 19th, and also tomorrow, Bryce of Esoteric Atlanta and Janine, Secrets Revealed. That's going to be a fascinating show, and that's going to be at, if I'm not mistaken, 4 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow here on the show. So mark your calendars. We're going to get into some cool stuff. The occult, the esoteric, of course, Esoteric Atlanta here with Bryce, and we're very, very excited about that. So guys, please remember to like, share, and subscribe here on our backup YouTube channel. We're finally back above 40K. Not where we were when we got deleted, but hey, it's getting there. So thank you, guys. Please hit that subscribe button and encourage us here and move forward and into rebuilding this community. And of course, also, please do go and support Janine here at Tarot by Janine on YouTube, and also on Sending Ravens, so we can bring those numbers up to match the Tarot by Janine YouTube channel as well. All right, folks, that's it for Monday. My last show for tonight. I'm gonna go to sleep, and we'll see you tomorrow. There's three. Actually, I have to say this one more time. There's Bruce sees all tomorrow. You guys have to watch this. It's starting at 3 p.m. The stuff he's capturing now, and the stuff we've seen in the last couple of weeks of all of these weird alien crafts around, you don't want to miss that show. There's a lot going on there. Anyways, Bruce sees all tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern also will be an amazing show. All right, guys, that's it for tonight. We'll see you soon. Au revoir.
Au revoir.